February 1959. 9 experienced hikers set out into Russia's Ural Mountains.
Athletes, engineers, all of them experienced. None of them came home.
Their tent was found weeks later, cut open from the inside. Boots and coats left behind. Some were found barefoot. Injuries compared to a car crash, with no vehicle and no visible cause. The Soviet inquest closed the case with a single phrase: a compelling, unknown force. Then the file was sealed. That's where part 1 left off. Now tweet the theories and the truth no one has fully explained.
For over half a century, that sealed file left a vacuum, and into it poured every explanation imaginable.
Some grounded in science, some in politics, some, frankly, in fantasy.
Let's go through what we actually know. The leading modern explanation is also the simplest: an avalanche, not the dramatic wall of snow you're picturing. In 2021, researchers publishing in the journal Communications, Earth and Environment modeled something called a delayed slab avalanche. A slower, smaller slide that can occur hours after a cut is made into a slope, triggered by wind-loaded snow settling on the exact ledge where the hikers pitched their tent. It's a compelling model. It would explain the panic, the rush to cut through the tent, rather than dig for the entrance. Even, potentially, the internal injuries. A slab of dense snow can crush ribs without leaving external bruising, especially if the body is pinned rather than struck directly. But it doesn't explain everything. Investigators at the time found no obvious avalanche debris, and critics point out the slope's angle was on the shallow end for a typical slide. A second theory looks not at the snow but at the wind. Journalist Donny Eichar, who spent years investigating the case, proposed that wind moving across the rounded shape of Dyatlov could generate infrasound, sound below the range of human hearing, but capable of producing intense irrational panic and physical nausea in people exposed to it. Under that theory, the hikers didn't flee from an external threat at all. They fled from a feeling, one triggered by their own biology, with no external monster to blame. A third theory points toward the Soviet military. Some witnesses at the funerals described an unusual orange tint to the victim's skin, and reports, disputed to this day, of prematurely gray hair on some of the bodies, combined with the radioactive traces on their clothing and the era's very real pattern of secret weapons testing in remote Soviet regions. This theory holds that the group stumbled into or was caught downwind of a military exercise, and that the investigation's abrupt closure was less about mystery and more about secrecy. It's a theory that fits the paranoia of the Cold War perfectly. What it lacks is a smoking gun. Early in the investigation, suspicion fell on the indigenous Mansi people who lived in the region, the same people who'd warned against climbing that mountain in the first place. It's worth saying clearly, investigators found no evidence of a struggle, no signs of an attack, and no motive. That theory was dismissed within weeks by Soviet investigators themselves, and modern researchers agree. It survives today only as an uncomfortable footnote, a reminder of how quickly suspicion can fall on the people who know a landscape best. And then there's a detail that sounds impossible, but is medically documented: paradoxical undressing. In the late stages of severe hypothermia, the body's blood vessels can fail, flooding the skin with warmth the dying brain misreads as overheating. Victims, disoriented and freezing to death, sometimes remove their own clothes. It's a real phenomenon. It's been recorded in hypothermia deaths around the world. And it may explain why so many of the hikers were found with so little on. Not because something took their clothes, because their own minds told them to. No unsolved case stays free of wilder ideas for long. Over the decades, the Dyatlov Pass incident has been blamed on UFOs, on a Yeti-like creature, on secret experimental weapons no government will admit to. None of these theories are supported by physical evidence. They persist, not because they're likely, but because a sealed file and a genuinely strange death scene will always leave room for imagination to fill the silence. Today, the pass where it happened carries their leader's name, Dyatlov Pass. Yuri Yudin, the 10th hiker, the one who turned back, lived until 2013. By his own account, he spent the rest of his life a little haunted by the decision that saved him, returning again and again to help identify his friend's belongings, and to search, like everyone else, for an answer that never fully came. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case for the first time in 60 years. By 2021, they'd landed publicly on the avalanche theory, a conclusion that satisfied some and left others unconvinced.
Because an avalanche can explain a death, it has a harder time explaining a mystery this specific.
The missing tongue, later attributed to natural decomposition, the radioactive clothing, the 16-foot climb up a cedar tree in the freezing dark. Every year, hikers still make the trek to Kholat Shakhl, some out of respect, some out of morbid curiosity, some hoping the mountain will finally tell them something new. It hasn't yet.
Kholat Shakhl means dead mountain, a name the Mansi gave this place long before 9 hikers ever set foot on it.
Whatever happened here on the first night of February 1959 happened fast, and it happened to people who knew exactly what they were doing. Science has narrowed the possibilities. It hasn't closed the case. And the mountain, as it has for 65 years,